My first time here. It's been amazing so far. I did not know you guys have had a lot of developers, so this is really nice. I was talking with Arturo about that. And today I'm going to explain a little bit about Nav Mesh. I'm going to show you two demos. It's going to be really quickly, I think 20 minutes, 25 minutes, something like that. I'll try to speed up a little bit because there are two projects that I want to show you, okay? It's about the new Nav Mesh feature. And if we don't have time for questions later, I will be here around and you can, we can talk about the projects that I'm working on, okay? Can you hear me well? Okay, great, thank you. Okay, so, yeah, that one's not working. Just keep looking that way. And I'm going to talk a little bit about Nav Mesh. This is, let's do this since it's not working. I'm just use the Unity project instead. So there are two projects I want to show you to explain Nav Mesh. One is about a ship that shoots things. You can see some droids moving around. You can see some towers that will shoot us. And the other project, it's some kind of tower defense and RTS game where you have warriors and knights that can fight and attack you and your units. It's pretty simple but powerful because in there you can see the amazing features about Nav Mesh, and I can even share the code with you later. So who here are programmers? Programadores de códigos? Did I say right? Programadores de códigos? Artists, game designers? Okay, most of you are programmers, so that's great. I'm not going to show you any code, okay? Don't be afraid. Não tienes medo. And my Portuñol is not so good, so I'll just keep it with English. And then I will change to the other project as soon as I show you some features here and the other one. So I'm not going to use too much of PowerPoint, okay? Since we have so short time. I'm just going to hit play here. Not sure if you have sound or not, but we don't need any sound. So we have a ship that I can fly around. You're going to see some drones here. This drone is using timeline movement. Not sure if you saw timeline already today. There are other drones moving with Nav Mesh. So the new features about the Nav Mesh is that you can bake it real time. So in the past, the Nav Mesh was not possible to use with a big scene, with a lot of units, because you need to pre-bake it. You cannot create a procedural scenario. So this time, our drones are just baking in real time so they can move wherever they want. In this example, I'm going to show you here and select one of the droids. So these boxes, the green one, the yellow one, is just tell you where the Nav Mesh is being baked, okay? So this one can be destroyed. Let's just hit play here. I can shoot stuff. I did this project in 3 hours, okay? Just for you to make sure that it's really simple. And another thing is, I'm going to pause here, get back to my presentation. I'm using some free assets from the asset store. So it's pretty much this project. You can get these free assets and do that by yourself. It's pretty simple. I can even share my scripts with you. So the only thing that's not from asset store are the scripts, because I'm using from Unity for Nav Mesh, post-processing, and the ones that I created myself. Okay, getting back, I can get back to you for you this later, so you can take a picture, whatever. Okay, I'll try to talk a little bit fast because of the time, okay? But you can stop me anytime if you have short questions, so we can keep it moving on. Okay, so as I said, you can shoot. There are a few towers that will send you some missiles. Don't worry about the game mechanics here because this is not the purpose. What I want to show is really about what is happening with the Nav Mesh. So I have 3 droids right here. These droids, let's see if I can zoom in for you. Yep, I can zoom in. These droids are using my own script, what I'm calling path move. It's using the Nav Mesh agent. So imagine you want to have a game, a tower defense or RTS. Everybody knows Age of Empires? It's really good, man. Command and Conquer, the old ones. The new one is trash. And yeah. And so with this Nav Mesh, you can pre-bake, you can bake in real time, so you pretty much can do these kinds of games much more easy and with much more power in your hands with this new version of NavMesh in Unity. So here I'm just using 3 examples. What you're doing is when I hit play, you're going to see that we start to moving. And when they do, you can see that these boxes, the yellow and the green one, is changing. What is happening here is that they don't know the path that they need to follow. When they start to move, it will create the path in real time for you, and then they can just walk to that place instead. Okay, so imagine I have this terrain, 10 times bigger or even more planets, I don't know. I can make each of these drones to move in this specific position and calculate by themselves every time I want. So this can be created for infinite levels or procedural generated levels, anything you want. Okay, it's a little bit slow because I'm running with a lot of windows open here. Let me zoom out. So, and these drones, they have a box collider and a script that I'm calling prop scene. So with this, you can shoot them and they can be destroyed. So it's just pretty much every object that you have in your screen, you can add a collider and this script, and it will be destructible. Okay? So this is an example in my project that you can destroy everything and you can add movement on top of it. And as you can see here, this small sphere, let's say like this, is where it's actually moving. So this is the object that is following the ship. I mean, the ship is following this object to make the movement, and you're going to see when it just keeps moving, it will respect, oops, I maximize on play. It will respect the terrain height and space where it's moving. Okay, so that's why you see it can move when it goes from a top level to a level that is a bit lower, and it just changes. What? I died? Yeah, I died. Okay, and the other thing that I want to show, and I'm going to create in real time, I tried to open two unit objects, was not possible. So I'm going to load. This other project is just about a normal RTS movement where knights and warriors will fight and attack other units. It's pretty basic, but with the features you're going to see, you can do a lot of stuff. Okay, so this one is a little bit more interesting. It's a little bit more heavy. And here, this project was created to showcase not only the Nav Mesh, but also the timeline and some post-processing effects. We have a small animation here with a few missions. I'm going to just skip this so we can see what is going on. So here you can move with your mouse and the keyboard. So we have some enemies. They're just standing still. And these enemies are all using NavMesh agent. So as you can see, there is a script that I created where you can change a lot of variables like life points, armor, etc. And the NavMesh agent where they can move around. And we will use these, in this project, we use something different. Each unit has a different size. So imagine I have a humanoid, a normal warrior, and a knight. So when I get back here, I'm going to create a few units. Oops. Forget about this. I'm going to, when I create some different units here, just to give you an example, my knights, they have a different size. So what happens here is, depending on the position of the terrain, they cannot move around. They cannot cross around mountains. They need a bigger space. And here I'm using a different Nav Mesh surface. Just let me turn this off so you'll be able to see what's going on here. Okay, so the new Nav Mesh in Unity, it's called surface. It's pretty much a component. Instead of you baking the whole project, you can add this component in any game object, and you can use the volumes instead of the whole terrain and the whole level. So this is really powerful because now I can select where I can bake my scene and where I can make my units move around. I'm going to get out of play because we don't have too many time, and I will not have time to show you. So I'm going just to minimize all this. You're going to see when I pre-bake. Okay, here. So the baking process is really fast, as you can see when I hit the bake. It's just a few seconds because I'm using volume here instead of the whole scene. So that's why it is really fast. In the first demo that I showed you, the ship, the units was creating all that by themselves in real time. Each unit was creating the Nav Mesh surface on their own. In this project, we already had that in our scene. So it's just, okay, I have my terrain, I have my scenery, and I want just the units to move, use that to move. I have some questions before starting. What is a Nav Mesh? What we can do about it? Nav Mesh is pretty much a basic AI path finding. You have artificial intelligence for moving your units, and you can use for units on the ground, you can use for ships, you can use for the sea. You just use your imagination. So I have a few questions before, like, oh, I have some ships. I want to use that because it's really easy and powerful because they will avoid each other. So imagine you get your sea, you bake the whole sea as a collider or something, and you can use your ships to move around. It's just pretty much I'm using the terrain, but instead I'm using water, or I can use the air in a fake collision stuff, and it just works, okay? And just to finish this part, the second one, I'm going to bake it again. So now we can have two surfaces. We can have two Nav Mesh components baked in our scene, and one, it will be used for our humanoid, which is our warrior. And another one, I'm going to use the horseman, which is a bigger unit. Just going to get back here. Forget about all this red stuff. Okay, this is not a Unity thing. It's my project. Okay, and here, when I create some unities, what is happening, and that's the power, what is really, really nice and powerful. So here, my knights cannot pass through these mountains. They need to move around here. And my other unities, my warriors, they can cross whatever they want. Let's just see then. I'm going to, the sound is not working. Okay, whatever, let's forget the sound. Oh, it's working. So what they do is just attacking each other. When they get near, then I make them stop. You're going to see that knights are much more powerful than the small unities. And you're going to see that when they move, they would try to avoid themselves. And you can do this in any unit size that you want. Okay, for this, I'm using just two examples. And as I told you, here, let's say I want to create more units. I can go here and, okay, instead of a horseman, I want to have a tank. Or I want to have dragons, and each one are with different size. So this makes much more power of my Nav Mesh, because now I can have basically AI stuff where I can use to move my units, where I can use for the sea, for the air, for the ground, anything that we want. And I'm not sure if the time is when I'm supposed to finish. But I really want to show you just these two projects here. It's not going to end really because this project is not finished, but they're going to destroy the buildings, they're going to destroy everything and kill everybody, and that's it. You can't win, but you can't lose. Okay, so this is pretty much what I want to say. It's really quickly introduction for the new Nav Mesh. You can get this new Nav Mesh on Unity GitHub. It's really, really powerful. It seems like really basic here. But imagine, again, when you have a lot of unities, you need to have, imagine you need to have your character moving like pretty much like the Diablo. Do you know Diablo, the game? Where you need to click for them to move. So you can do this using the Nav Mesh also. So pretty basic. If you guys want the scripts or whatever that I can share that with you. I cannot share the art or the project itself, but the scripts and how I did, these I can share and send to you, okay? That was really fast because of the time, I'm sorry. I'm not sure if yes, I'm on time, that's good. I think we have 2 minutes. Is there anyone here that can tell me about time? The tempo? ¿Cuánto tiempo? No. Okay, questions? I think we have a few minutes about NavMesh or some features of the projects or the game or whatever. Yep.
Are there any plans to implement something like full field where you put trade papers that agents can follow without having to recalculate every time they change orders?
About orders, they following orders?
Like making vector from the NavMesh that they can query instead of calculating for each agent.
Oh, yes. Actually, this project is not calculating for each one. I mean, the Nav Mesh surface. It's just a region. The first project, yes, was like what you said. I was using for the droid, so you can have an example about they calculating for themselves each time they move. Here, it's just this Nav Mesh manager, which I'm using two Nav Mesh surface, which is the component that makes the place where they can move, okay? And you just had to hit bake once, and all unities will work on this surface. Or let's say that this one I'm using humanoid, and the other one is I'm using the horseman. So if I have more units, let's say that I create a road or something, my game, it's a village building, something like that, and I want them to follow the roads, I can create a baking specific on the road and make them walk in there instead of the other places. So it's really more powerful than the old one. It works similar because you can use pretty much almost the same code. So this is really nice because they want, if you guys are working with NavMesh before, it will be really easy to get into this, okay? Also, another thing I forgot to mention is about, this is also really powerful. These two options, when I say bake, I'm getting actually physics objects to calculate where they can walk. Instead, I can have meshes. So imagine my artist send me the whole scene prepared for me. I don't know, buildings, a terrain, a forest, mountains, whatever. And I can get this mesh to calculate my path instead of physics object. So I don't need to add box collider to everything. I can just use my meshes, my 3D objects to make the bake part, and it will just work. I just change here, I hit bake, it will just work. So, but instead of getting the box the colliders, it will get the meshes of the objects. Okay, that explains a little bit. Okay, anyone have another question? Okay, good.
I got a question.
Yeah.
How long have you guys taken building up this project?
This.
As a developers, we are always really encouraged new projects, but we don't have figures, the figures to other projects.
Okay, so you want to know how long did I take to finish this project?
Yes.
And the other, okay. This one, it was 3 hours. The other one was 3 hours and a half. It was pretty fast. I'm using, of course, I'm not creating all the art. I'm not an artist. I'm horrible at that. That's why I love artists. And I got all the assets from the asset store. These one are from Unity. Actually, this the RTS is not available yet. But the art, some effects I got all from the asset store, and I created the scripts. So the purpose was to show the Nav Mesh. So of course, that's why I'm using some components from that. But I'm also developer for 7 years already, so that's why I can make it more quickly. But the point here is, okay, I can make it in 3 hours, but it's very simple. I'm pretty sure you guys can take this and learn really quickly. I hope soon this project or the other one will be available for everyone, so you can check how I work on that. The scripts are all custom made, so it's not something that, okay, it's already done, because I have a lot of people asking me that, oh, these scripts are all done. I don't know how it was, how you made all that. So here you can check the scripts. It has comments in every line. So as you can see, I try to explain what is going on for the camera controller, for the enemy tower, or the player ship controller. Okay, I'm not getting to the code right now, but it's really it's really helpful to have the comments, and I can share with you if any of you guys want. Okay? Any more questions? I don't know about the time, so. Okay, everyone. Oh. Yep.
Are those assets available in the store? Or?
This one is not available yet. I think it will be. Mike Geig, which is from Unity, is another speaker. He needs to authorize me on that, so I don't think it's available yet. But the other project, I'm getting back. The ship project, all assets are free. So, oops, don't save this. So these are the assets for the ship. So you can get in an asset store. They are all free and are the same assets that I use to do the ship, the particles, everything. Even the sound, everything. The UI, it's all here. And yeah, this one is pretty much everything you can see. I have another talk and workshop that I'm explaining this game from scratch, how I did from scratch, because it's pretty like the fog and everything that you can see, the ship movement. But we need to save this for another talk, another workshop. Okay? Guys, thank you very much. It was really fast because of the time. And thank you. I'll be around. I'll be around if you have any questions or would like to see the project. Okay? Have a great show, and I was to say something in Spanish, I forgot. Muy bien, developers. Estoy muy infeliz por estar acá. ¿Acá? Ok. Gracias, muchas gracias.